Hey everyone, I'm Sarah, and today we are doing the crochet stream. But actually, uh, they okay. Hold on, I got a little distracted because chat's like already going. Yes, the intro song is from Elder Scrolls. Um, yes, good ear. Um, okay, so today we're actually going to do knitting instead of crochet because I've gotten to a point in crochet. You guys are pretty advanced. I think it's really time to introduce you to knitting. It's something that I think you should at least know how to do. Now, here's the thing. I've got some stuff here I want to show you, but you do not have to have anything like this. You can use any kind of smooth sticks. If you have a pair of chopsticks, you can use those. I know that some people have stuff that they put in their hair. You can use those. But you can actually use your finger, which I will, or your arm, and I will show you how to do that today. So anything you have that's straight and smooth, you're fine. You can use that to crochet, to knit with. Okay. A little bit of housekeeping before I get started showing you all of the cool stuff. If you notice right here, I have Discord that I bring in. You can actually join my Discord, which is that right there. If you join Discord, then you can join the stream chat live and actually be on with us. Your little icon will show up there and you can actually talk. Molly, are you there? I don't hear her. I don't know if she's there. Okay. But sometimes she will come on and talk, and so it's just a great way to be live and be present with me. Okay, you are there. I cannot hear you on Discord, so FYI. Yeah, rip Molly. So sorry. But she's at least present, so that's good. Ways to get to my Discord, of course, you can just type this in, or you can type !Discord in the stream chat, and that will, I've trained my bot to give you the link. Or if you click on my name in Twitch, it should pull up some tabs. There's a tab called About, and under About there are buttons, and there's a Discord button there. Also there is my schedule button, and that will take you to my website and the calendar on my website, and it will show you everything I've got scheduled, from crochet classes to my drawing and painting classes. It shows you pictures of what we're going to be doing and everything. So that's also a really great link. All right. Another reason to join my Discord, if you don't want to join the voice chat, you still can join, and I'm just going to show you really quick what that looks like. So here's what my Discord looks like. And if you notice, I've got different channels. There's one called Crochet Projects, and that's where you can post your projects. So here's Crochet Projects, and you can see that different projects have been posted here. So you can actually share your projects as you work on them. I also have Art Crit, which is where we share our art projects. If you are over 18, I have a mature art channel, which you are welcome to join. You just have to request that by asking me. And that's it. Here's the voice chat here. You just click on stream chat, and that will instantly put you on. All right. So enough about that. Let's get started talking about knitting. The real stuff. So the first one, I grabbed these today because I can't find any of my knitting stuff. I'm sure it's somewhere in my packed belongings. So I grabbed a couple. Yes, thank you, Dithinus, for pointing that out. There is thunder and it is storming, and so if for some reason my stream goes out, which apparently it likes to storm in Florida every Tuesday right when I'm about to stream, because that seems to be when it happens. If for some reason it goes out, I will do my best. Like if my internet or whatever goes out, I'll try to get back up. You've had few thunderstorms this year. Is there a drought? I love thunderstorms too. And the house that I live in right now has an awesome screened in front porch, so I can actually sit out on the porch and listen to the rain. I did that yesterday. I actually meditated was listening to the rain, and it was really nice. So I absolutely love thunderstorms, especially if I don't have to be out in it. You've had a lot of rain, just not a lot of storms. Okay. Well, yeah, that is a bummer then, like if you like to hear the thunder and stuff, because that is nice. Okay, so knitting. I left a pair of these in the box so that you could see how it's labeled. So this happens to be Loops and Threads, which is, we have a local Michael's here. But this is a size, US size 11 or 8 millimeter. And this would be for your bigger yarn. Like if you wanted to use chunky yarn or something, that's what these would be for. And so these are the two sizes I recommend you get. I recommend you get an 11, which is 8 millimeter, or size 8, which is 5 millimeter. Now 8 is what you'll use the most. That's what goes with this yarn. And if you look, I've shown you guys before how, like, if you look at the back, it shows you the size that you need. So this is the size of the yarn. This would be the size of your knitting needles. So remember I showed you, here's your crochet needle, your crochet hook, here's your knitting needle. So it says it's a US size 8 or 5 millimeter. And then it also gives you information as far as if you were to do 18 stitches across for 24 rows, you would get a 10 by 10 centimeter square or a 4 inch by 4 inch square. So that's how you can read these. That tells you, that's your gauge. And they're telling you that if you use this size needles with this size yarn, regular tension, this is the 18 by 24 should equal that size. So that's how you read the back of your yarn. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take these out. We're not using them today, but I also don't want to leave them in the, I know what they are. Okay, so this is the size, this would be equivalent to size H in your crochet hook, 5 millimeter. This is going to be your common size for regular size 4 yarn, which is what we use in this class. All right, I also have these that I wanted to show you. So notice that this actually has a connection. So these are called circular needles. And what this is for is if you wanted to, say, knit a pair of socks, well, you need to knit them in the round. So you would just basically continue knitting around and around and around and around. So that is what this is. This allows you to do that, where you can just can go in a continuous circle. You'll see today when I show you how to knit that these switch back and forth, where you actually switch the needles in your hand. Okay, then of course I have my scissors. Always important to have scissors. It's a little Eiffel Tower there. My love for the French. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead. I've got a little bit of knots there, but so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're gonna do the same thing that we do with crochet. We're gonna make a slip knot. So remember, to make a slip knot, you take your yarn and twist it, and it's gonna make a little loop in that twist. Whichever side is on top, so it's this side, you're gonna make another little loop. Okay, so make another little loop, and you're gonna go underneath your first loop. So go underneath and come up through the middle. Then you grab your new loop, the second loop, grab your working yarn, which is the yarn that's coming from the skein, and then you grab your tail, both together, and pull, bloop, like that. And now you have a slip knot. So what I do, we're going to just tighten this onto our needle. Now the very first thing we're going to do, I hold these kind of like my crochet hook. I hold the tail back like that. Now the first thing we're going to do is something called casting on. Casting on. So all we're going to be doing is putting however many loops we need to start with, because this is a little bit different than crochet in that you're making your loops as you go. This one, you start with the number of loops that you need. It is raining really hard here, so I have already seen the electricity flicker once, so I'm just warning you, there's a chance I may go out, but I will try to get back on as soon as I can, so no worries. Okay, So what I try to do, notice that I leave a little bit of slack here. I'll hold that up so you can see. See, there's a little bit of slack to where it's not tight against the needle. That's really important because we're going to have to actually get the other needle through there. So you want there, I cannot hear you. Are you on Discord, do you mean? I cannot hear you. Are you talking? Oh, I hear you talking. You're very low. Let me see if I can turn you up in Discord. I might have you. Nope, I've got you at 200%. So you're really low, so I can't really understand what you're saying. But that's a little better. Okay, so keep that loose so that we can get both needles in there. Now what we're going to do is take the yarn and you just twist it, almost like you did when you were starting your slip knot, and you're going to put your needle through that and pull. That is your first cast on. So now we've got two. So twist and put your needle through. You got that, Molly? I just saw the lights flicker. Twist and slip through. So I'm casting on. So you take it, you twist it, and then just put the needle through. Now you want to make sure that these are kind of loose. Again, remember, we're going to have to fit this whole needle through there. So you want to make sure that it's kind of loose. In fact, I'm probably not even making this as loose as I should. I'm going to actually start over. I'm going to leave the slip knot on there, but I'm going to make sure this is pretty loose. When you put it through, just don't pull it all the way tight. Make sure that there is some slack in there. Twist and put on there. Twist and put it on the thing. So I'm trying to be very loose about this. Another thing you can do is you can use, similar to what we do with the crochet hooks, you can use just one size up. Twist. So I'm going to say, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do 15. Whoa. Saw the lights flicker again. 7, 8. So notice I'm not pulling very hard and I'm going very slowly. 9, 10, 11. Now if you get too close, you can always just squish it down a little bit. Twist and put through. 12, 13, twist, 14, twist, put it through, 15. Now with crochet we usually have to like add 1 or add 3 depending on what we're making. This you don't have to add anything. Now you've got 15 on there, that's how many we're going to be doing. So if you're right-handed, you're going to switch this to your left hand. And then you pick up your other needle. So I always make sure that my row, see how this row here, like you've got the row that's kind of sticking out is on the bottom. So that's going to be, or like basically to the right bottom. Because where you're going to go in is right above that knot, like right above that little cast on that you did. So you're going to go in forward to back. So we're going in forward to back like that. So see, here's the here's that little place where it kind of knotted a little bit, the chunky place. I'm not sure what to call this, but see, it's the chunky place. So you're going to go forward to back. So, and this is important, the direction you go. So we're going forward to back. You got that, Molly? Okay. Then you're going to take your yarn. Now notice that my yarn is behind me. When you're doing the stitch I'm going to teach next week, this is called the knit stitch. The stitch I'm going to teach next week, which is your other primary stitch, is called the purl stitch. And purl would be in the front. So you want to make sure that your yarn is in the back. And you are going to, you're going to yarn over. And then you're going to pull it through. Hold on. I might want to yarn over going forward. So go forward. So instead of yarning over from the back like we do with crochet, yarn over going to the back instead of from the back. And then you pull it through. Did you catch that? Okay, I can't hear you, so I'm going to assume. Maybe write in the text. Okay.
No, I did not.
Okay, sorry, you seemed really far away. All right, so do you have your needle in where it's supposed to go?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, well, all right, so just to make sure, you've got, do you have something that looks like this?
Yes.
Okay, so you want this part to be facing that way, to be facing the right. And we're going to go in on top of that little ridge there. So here's what we're going to do. So if you find the ridge, the very first one, so here's my first loop, you're going to go into the loop. So almost like they line up. See? So like your needles are together. So you go into the loop. And then you're going to slide underneath like that and cross them underneath. Does that make sense? Okay. But so there's two ways to come into this loop. You can come in this way or you can go this way. We're going this way. That's the knit. So we're going the same direction. We're just going to cross underneath. Okay, now cross over, yarn over, and you're just going to scoop it up and pull it through. So see, I just kind of hooked it under and it made it looped that on to this one. Did that make sense? Molly? It didn't make sense? Okay. What doesn't make sense about that? Okay. And this is the hard part for everyone, so keep that in mind. When you yarn over, you're kind of pulling your needle up towards you so that it hooks it. See how it just hooked it right there on the edge, and then you can pull it onto your needle. You're basically just making a new loop, just like in crochet, except with crochet, it's got the hook at the end of it. But this, you have to make it hook by like moving this towards you to hook it in. I need you to get this first part before we can move on, because otherwise you're going to be lost. The thing about crochet, this is why I like crochet better actually than knitting, is because crochet you can kind of catch up. If you make a mistake, you can undo it, things like that. Knitting is no such thing. Knitting, basically you get it all right or none of it's right. Like there's not a whole lot of room for mistakes in knitting.
I might just wash this one.
Okay. Well, so the next thing you do, and this is important, the next thing you do is you are going to take off just this first one. You're going to take it off of that hook. Just the first one, because we haven't done the second one yet. So now we're going to go and do the second one. So you go in, like I said, you're going the same direction. Going the same direction. Like that. You go into that first loop and just make sure that it's crossed under. Yarn over and then pull it through. And like I said, I kind of scrape the point of my needle against the other needle. That's what makes the clicking sounds that you hear. Like if you hear like an old lady knitting or something like that, that clicking sound is because they're scraping this. They're basically scooping up the next yarn by scraping it against the other needle. Okay, and then you move it off. And go under the next one. Yarn over, scoop it through, and then take it off. Go through, yarn over, scoop it through, and then take it off. You want to make sure when you're taking it off of the left one that you aren't pulling both off, that you're not pulling more than one off, that you're just getting the one. So you go into the next loop. When you're first you're going into the cast on, sometimes they can be a little tight. So you just have to work with them a little bit, and it just takes a little longer on that first one. Knitting can be very fast though. So I scooped through. So see how I did that? I've got the yarn over. I bring my needle in, like I'm sliding it. It's actually sliding right up against that other needle. I bring the needle in and then instantly bring it around so that it scoops up that next loop. So go under, yarn over, scoop it around, and take it off. Go under, yarn over, scoop it around, and take it off. And we're going to go all the way until the next row. Go under, yarn over, scoop it around, and take it off. Now with knitting, you don't start to see your results right away. You'll just see like your ridge slightly getting bigger, but after a while you'll start seeing the results, and you'll and it's pretty satisfying because you start to see it grow. It's a little more satisfying actually than crochet, I will say that. Oops, so I lost that. So luckily it didn't pull anything off because I'm not going too fast. So I can just start over. I'm trying to make these so they don't, they're making noise against my desk. All right, we're almost done. I've got 3 more to do. Remember I did 15. So I'm also watching this tail. Okay, man, the rain is really coming down hard here. Oops, I lost that. And that happens sometimes. Knitting, now crochet, I always have to kind of look at it when I'm working on it. Knitting I can do without looking at it. I'm looking at it right now because I haven't knitted in a really long time. I just prefer crochet. But see that didn't even grab it. But right at the beginning you do have to kind of pay attention because of that tail. So now we finished a row. So like I said, you can't fully see just yet. But if you spread it out, you can kind of see that the ridge has gotten a little bigger. All right, then we switch hands. Make sure your ridge is on the right side. And then you do the same thing. You go through. Oh, I want to make sure I'm not using my tail. The tail really gets in the way with knitting, more so than it does with crochet, at least when you first start. Okay, so got that through, take it off. Now it's easier once you get past that first cast on stage. The cast on stage is kind of like with crochet, the foundation chain is the hardest part. Knitting is actually the same way, where like once you get past that very first row, it gets a lot easier. So you can get pretty fast. And that's why I just pay closer attention at the beginning, and once I get through the first part, then you can just start kind of going to town. Now, like I said, knitting is a lot faster. In that, like, I can easily knit a whole scarf in like 2 hours maybe. Whereas crochet, I mean, I've gotten fast enough at crochet where I could probably do a scarf in 2 hours. But I find that my hands hurt less with knitting. Like my knuckles hurt less, so. Did you say something, Molly? Okay. Is it raining over on your side of town, Malls? I cannot hear you at all. Okay. Today just maybe isn't a talking day. All right, so see, now you can start to see the ridge getting bigger. And we'll switch hands again. Are you using your mom's headset?
Not right now, because her headset wasn't working last night, so I'm using my brother's A10s.
Okay, well, I can hear you right now. I don't know why I haven't been able to hear you before.
It's because I have to use her headphones for talking, and Jack's for listening.
Oh, interesting.
And the reason why I wasn't talking was because I was going to get something.
Oh, okay. Well, I was asking if it was raining on your side of town.
It's very windy. It looks like it's going to start raining soon.
Okay.
But last night it was horrible. There were these huge lightning strikes. Thankfully our power didn't go out.
Oh, that is good. Yeah, I spent a lot of last night cleaning guns.
Oh yeah.
I ended up cleaning the last 3 guns for your uncle. Yeah. So yesterday I learned how to clean guns. And it was pretty cool. Like, I had not done that before. So now you're starting to see. Look, now we can actually see the little, like, see it actually coming off of our... I'm using this as a rest so that it's not clicking against the table. But yeah, I went ahead and finished cleaning everything else. So it was dark. I mean, I had the light on the porch. But I've got a picture of me cleaning the guns. I think it's pretty fun, but I also like to clean things. So, but he said that I'm very good at cleaning guns. Yeah. A high compliment. All right. So you can hear the clicking a little bit. Like when I really get going, I'm trying to kind of keep my pace a little bit slow here. But when I really get going, it's like click, 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 click. You just hear like the clicking of the needles. Now wooden ones make like an interesting click too, so you can get bamboo needles. Excuse me. Oops, I lost that one. And we've got a knot in here, so let me see if I can get that out. Should be pretty easy because I think it's just a twisted knot. There we go. All right, so you can see it's getting even longer. So let's keep going. Before I show you how to do something called binding off or casting off, I want to get like a decent amount going here. You know, that we have several rows. But you can see already that this is faster than crochet. It just moves really fast. Okay, this is now getting in my way, so. Let's see, I tell you what. How about that? Normally I would sit with these in my lap. So the fact that I've got them kind of up and in front of me makes it a little bit harder. That's why they're falling on the table. But normally I'd be sitting with them like back here, you know, like that. So I would be holding them up above my lap. Okay, so I just pulled that one through, so I'm going to take that off. It also gets easier the farther in you go. The first part, the casting off, really is a bear. Like I said, if you can make it loose, that helps a lot. But the first row,
Sarah.
yeah.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
What's going on today? Are you learning knitting too? I think we've got more than one person on the same headset. Okay, now this got really loose in here, but it's tight over here, and I'm not sure why. I can't hear the whispering. If you're whispering, I can't hear you.
His deck's being a little bit weird right now.
Oh, well, is this new?
No.
Right.
Playing with the chopsticks I was using.
Oh, you were using chopsticks. Cool. Like I said earlier.
My mom puts in her hair.
Right. Like I said, you can actually use anything that is smooth, really. Like any stick that's smooth. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go this last row, and then I'm going to show you how to bind or cast off. Now, that is the tricky part. So the beginnings and the ends of knitting is where you need to pay the most attention. Like I said, you don't need to pay as close of attention. I mean, I can pretty much knit without looking, or without looking very often, pretty easily. But when you get to the end, it's important that you pay attention, almost as much as the beginning, because you're going to have to do some tricky maneuvering. All right. So, because what you've got to do is you've got all these... you've got all these loops on here that have to, something has to go, you know, something has to happen to them, right? We've got all these loops. So here's what you're going to do. You go ahead and you do the first two. So this is called binding off or casting off. Okay? So we're going to do the first two. So we go 1, oops, that didn't grab it. Sorry. Okay, there we go. 1, 2. Okay, now this is important. You're going to take this back one and you're going to take it off of the end of this over this one, but this one needs to stay on. So you're going to take it. I just sometimes do it with my fingers. You're going to take it and slide it all the way to the end. You can also hook it with the other needle. But the important part is that there's like a little tiny piece that didn't make it. That's the problem with this kind of yarn. Okay. Ugh, and that looks terrible. But anyway, so that you only have one loop. Then you're going to do one more. So knit another one. Take it off of the left side like you normally do. Then you're going to hook the back one and bring it over the front one. And I use my, it's just a hot mess with this yarn. I use my finger to kind of hold that in place so it doesn't also go off. And then you let it drop off. This is the cruddiest yarn to try to use for this, I'm going to be honest. Knitting is very difficult with like fiddly yarn. All right, so yarn over, I'm going to do my next one. Okay, so I've got to take my back one. I'm going to do it without this so you can see what it's like. I'm going to just use my fingers. So I'm going to just take the back one, come to the front. I'm going to use my thumb or my nail to hold this one in place so it doesn't go with the other one. And then I'm going to just scoop that off the end like that. So I should still have one left on there. Okay, so knit the next one. I'm going to scoop this over the front one like that. Knit the next one. Scoop it over the front one. Scoop the back one over the front one. And you just keep going like that. Knit. Scoop the back one over the front one. If you drop it, usually you can see it and try to pick it up. But I just try to hold it with my fingers so that it doesn't get dropped. Scoop the back one. Oops. Scoop the back one over the front one. Sometimes if I'm having a hard time getting it with the needle, I just use my fingers. Man. Like coughing, sneezing, all kinds of things. And it's like getting really hot in my room because my computer's being very hot. So knit the next one. Scoop it over. All right, hold on one moment. I have to get a Kleenex. Excuse me. Something's just like irritating my nose right now. Flux, hey! And thank you. All right, so we have one on here. We're going to go ahead and knit the next one. And that one didn't even hook. Knit the next one. And then scoop the back one over the front one. Knit the next one, scoop the back one over the front one. And like I said, this is a definitely tricky business here, so excuse me. It helps to pay attention. I mean, this is the slowest part of the whole process. Something didn't happen right here. I'm going to try. Oh no, I think it just messed up. This yarn is very fiddly, so it's just going to look how it looks. Now, I'm going to show you, not on this stream, but on another stream, that if you accidentally drop a stitch, I can show you how to pick it up, like where if you accidentally missed one. Because sometimes when you get a lot of them going, you can miss one. Or one can fall off. Like remember how like you try to keep, but it can fall off without you realizing it. Oops. Or that can happen. All right, so I'm going to try to pick this one up. Hold it with my thumb. I might have to put my BRB on because something is just really irritating me right now. I mean, like, when I say irritating, I don't mean like making me annoyed. Like, it's actually, there's something, like I can't breathe very well. Okay. last one. So go ahead and knit, and then we can put that other needle to the side. We're going to still scoop over. I'm just going to use my fingers for this one. Scoop over, and then all we have is one left. Now, similar to your crochet, you'll just go ahead and cut, and then you will yarn over and pull that through. And then just pull it tight. So this is what you get. Now, this isn't like my best work. I have not knitted in a while, and you can see. I mean, when I say I haven't knitted in a while, I haven't knitted probably in like, let's see, since my late 20s. So easily like 15 years. So, you know, I didn't expect this to look perfect. So you can see it looks kind of messy, but that is how you knit. Now you can weave these in just like you do in crochet. You just go in and out just like you normally did. So you can actually use a crochet hook in knitting. That's common. Now, one of the things I found with binding off is if you try to do it kind of loosely, that's going to be helpful, because see how I did mine a little bit tight, and so now it's like kind of curving in a little bit. Welcome back, Flex. Thank you. Okay, so I finished this little, like I said, it looks terrible, but you get the hang of it, and it's important, like even if it looks terrible, you can always, like, to fix something like this, you can do fringe. Okay. 1 second. I'm gonna put my BRB screen on, but I'm really only gonna be gone for a second. I'm really struggling here. All right, sorry about that, guys. Some kind of irritant got into my nose. I don't know what it was. If a bug flew up my nose or what, I don't even know. But something was in there, and it was like making me feel like I had to sneeze like the entire time I was talking. So that wasn't great. Okay. So I promised you that I would show you how to knit without needles. So like I said, you can use chopsticks or something. If you are going to use chopsticks, normally they don't have anything on the ends. I would recommend putting like a piece of wax or like a little piece of rubber. You can even take a rubber band and just tie it, you know, loop it around several times. And, you know, at the end, something as a stopper, because otherwise you're, depending on how much you're knitting, it can just go right off the back end. But you can use anything like that. You can also use your fingers. So let's do that. I'm going to show you. You can also, if you're using really big yarn, you can use your arm. All right, so I'm going to make a slip knot. Remember, cross. Take a loop on the side that's on top. Come up through the bottom. Pull your two tails tight. All right, and I'm going to loop it on my forefinger. Not too tight, because you're going to have to get another finger in there. So in fact, you need it to be rather loose. Now, this isn't the right size yarn for this. Notice, remember I showed you earlier that this is what you used for your big chunky yarn? Even that's smaller than your finger. So you would want to use yarn like, in fact, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. Something like this. Let's use this so you can see, because this is not going to look right if we do it on the finger. It's just going to be very, very loose. So I've got some chunky yarn here. You can still practice it with the smaller yarn. All right. Well, of course, I picked up the one that is like tangled. Let's see if I have another one. Or if I can untangle this. Okay. What happened is that two different ends got undone, so I just need to tuck in the other end. Okay, this is the one that I want. All right, so same thing, slip knot, make a loop, pull it up, and then we'll tighten it to our finger. Okay, like I said, not too terribly tight because we need to be able to get in there with our other finger. All right, now I just heard a beeping. Okay, I don't know what that was. Molly, was that something on your side? All right. So remember, you twist and then slide it on. Oh, you know what that sounded like? It sounded like a microwave. Again, I just stick my finger in there and make sure you can get in there. Twist and slide the loop on. Twist, slide the loop on. And you can just squish it down. Twist, slide the loop on. Twist, slide the loop on. So Flux, how have you been lately? I haven't seen you in a while. Missed you. I assume you're still on. I don't know. I didn't check. And of course my mirror is right in front. It doesn't look like you're on anymore. Okay. So I'm just getting some on there. Now, here's the thing. We've got to switch these to the other arm, but we're not really going to be able to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick our finger in, grab a loop. So you stick your finger in, grab a loop, and you can make the loop with, this hand first, or you can loop it around your thumb. Just something so you can grab it. Pull it through, and then just put it on the other finger, and then drop that off. Did I do that right? Nope, I didn't. Hold on. Come through. Let's see. Been a bit busy doing this and that. Also been visiting family COVID rules. Yeah. We still are under pretty heavy COVID stuff here. I mean, I've been able to do things, but I maybe should have bound on my left hand. Let's see if I can transfer, because I feel like maybe I should have done that. Okay. I was able to transfer. They were big enough loops. I could just transfer to my other finger. Well, it sounds like you have been really busy. Okay, so we're going to go in and pull a loop through onto your other finger and then drop off. Go through, and this isn't the best way to do it. It's better if you have sticks. Pull a loop through and put it on the other finger. But it is a way to do it. You go through. See, I'm going to just get my loop here. So I'm pulling up the yarn right next to it, so I have a loop ready. You've been visiting family as the rules have relaxed there. So that's funny. The rules haven't relaxed here. They've gotten worse, but that's because we've got a bunch of Americans here that don't want to obey the rules in the first place. and have no respect for other people, and trying to prove a point. So you go through, so I'm getting both fingers in there and bringing up my yarn and pulling it through and then looping it on my finger. Yeah, so rules are actually cracking down here. But, I mean, people are still not paying attention. I was in the store today. I had to run to Michael's to pick up some of this stuff. And, like, most of the people there weren't wearing any kind of mask or anything. It's just, I don't understand. So you walked over 100 kilometers last week. Wow! You've been losing weight since Christmas, but now you need to step it up to get the last bit off. Is there any particular reason why you're losing weight? Just for your health, or particular clothing you want to fit into, or trying to look good for someone special? Is there any reason? Okay. So for health then. All right, so I got everything onto this hand. Now, I'm going to transfer it and just slide it on. Oh wait, you've got to move it around. Sorry, you got to twist it, turn it around. See, that's why the hand method, you can do it, but it's definitely not as easy. So you go through the hole same way. So you want to go the same, both needles need to be going the same way, or both fingers in this case. But it should be easier now because we got past that first row. You go through, pull the yarn through, oops, loop it on your finger, and let it fall off. Sure, blame the keyboard. Just kidding. All right, so I don't even remember how many loops I did on this in the first place. I'm trying to pull more out. But let's see. Pull a loop through, put it on my finger. Pull a loop through, put it on my finger. Last one, pull a loop through. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bind off, even though this is, because this is going to be much bigger. So I'm going to squish it, put it on the other finger. And remember, with casting off or binding off, you do the first two first. You have to switch back to tablet. You tried fixing your PC, but it's noisy again. You're going to try again tomorrow. BRB again. Okay. It could be, so it could be if your CPU is running really high, if you look at your task manager and see what it is. Sometimes, like I know Google Chrome, if you have different extensions, I've had certain extensions will cause it to run really hot. I don't know which ones. I haven't identified that yet. So I do my first two. Okay, and then I pull my back one over my front one. Okay, I'm going to do my next one. Pull my back one over my front one. Do my next one. Pull the back one over the front one. So I'm just going in the hole and just pinching that through at this point. Very loose. Loosey goosey. All right, I'm gonna just cut that. So you can see that's knit. You can actually make a really cool blanket like that. Your arm is the same way. You just loop and then you pull everything off and switch it to the other arm. There's a way you can do it without switching. I don't know what that is, so forgive me for that. Like I said, I haven't knit in years, but knitting is easy enough that you can just pick it right back up. I think crochet is like that too, but crochet I feel like has a little bit more of a learning curve. So Flux, I mentioned this earlier but then realized that you were already off, but is it your CPU that's running really high, like where the fan is running really high and it's just very loud like that? Or is there like clicking or something like that? The reason I ask is because if it's the CPU that's running really high, mine does too because it's an older computer. Because the CPU's fine, the fan just rattles. Okay, it could just be something's loose then. Well, good luck with that. Mine, the CPU runs really high, specifically with Google. Because Chrome has extensions that make it... I haven't narrowed it down to which extension it is that's doing it, but it has extensions that basically use the crap out of my CPU. So once I shut that down, like in Task Manager, it'll be fine. And I still have Google open. It's just whatever extension that was. It's probably one of the ad blockers. I think those are make things run high. But anyway, okay. So this was it for the knitting. So we knit this little bit. What I'm going to go ahead and do, because I haven't shown you guys this before, I'm going to show you how to make a fringe. Okay? So in this particular case, I'm just going to trim these. Like, we're going to pretend that these have been woven in. Okay? Because I don't feel like weaving in right now. All right. So to make fringe, you're going to make however long you want your fringe to be and then double it. So this is going to be it's 2 pieces of fringe. It's going to come from the same one. So we're going to actually cut several. Now I had done 15 across, so I want to cut at least 15 like this. I'm not going to actually show you guys the fringe going all the way across. I'm going to cut like 5. So here's 4. And you can always trim it better later once it's on the scarf or whatever it is you're making. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. It is better to use a crochet hook for this. And hang on, I'll be right back. I need to grab a crochet hook. Okay. So I just grabbed the first one I saw. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick this up and like double it like that, where it makes a loop at the top. You're going to go into your first hole, hook this, and pull it through. Now, we're not going to pull it through all the way. What we're going to do is pull those 2 pieces through that hole and then pull tight. And now it's attached. That is called a lark's head knot. So we want to make sure we're going the same direction every time. So I'm going to leave this like this. So you loop it, go through your hole. Oops. Pull it through until you get like a nice big hole there. You're going to loop your your two ends and then pull it tight. And do the next one. Double it. We're going to go through the next hole. Pull that loop through. Then we're going to wrap both ends over. It's an old gaming PC, so it should handle the basics easily, and you're doing art now. Ah, cool. Hopefully stuff you can post in ArtCrit. I haven't seen anything from you in a while. But like you said, you've been busy. I get that. Okay, last one. Last one that I'm going to show you guys. You would want to go all the way across. Go through the next hole. Pull the loop through. Then pull your yarn through that loop. And see, what you end up getting is you start getting fringe. Now, once you get all your fringe going all the way across, then that's when you can come in and you can, I just like comb everything down or brush it down to where it's pretty straight. And then, hold on, you can actually do this like a hairdresser. You can put it in between your fingers like this. And then you cut it straight across. Like that. So then you have nice even fringe. So that is how you make fringe, ladies and gentlemen. And that also concludes our stream. And my stream didn't go out. I am so excited that we made it through without the storm knocking out my stream. We did have some sound issues, but I think that overall it was pretty great. Like I said, remember that next time if you want to join us on Voice, this up here, you can join this down here, my Discord server, and join us on Voice live. I recommend that if you do that, that you mute your Twitch, because we're about 4 seconds ahead, I believe, of Twitch, of the stream itself. So if you have both voice on, you'll just hear an echo. Okay, Flex said, no main pieces at the moment, just doodling daily. Nothing has popped out at me to work on. The next stream, you've been sleeping well. Gotcha. Okay. Well, my next stream is tonight. We are going to be doing a drawing stream. It's 7 p.m. Eastern, which I think is -4 Greenwich. So tonight we are going to do an anime mermaid special request by Molly. Molly is Queen Bee up here. She requested that we do a mermaid, so I've got an anime mermaid that we can do. So it's going to be kind of a whimsical drawing tonight. But it should be pretty fun. I look forward to seeing you again. That's 7 p.m. Eastern time. And if I don't see you tonight, then have a wonderful sleep and a great week. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining my stream. I'll see you guys later.